Presentation of TNT Sports.
Tonight, two of the NBA's premier one-on-one players will be on display north of the border. It's the all-out speed and wide-open style of New York Knicks player Latrell Sprewell. Taking on the high-flying aerial action of Toronto's half-man, half-amazing Vince Carter. Oh, Canada will be on fire tonight. It's the Knicks against the Raptors, next on TNT. It's the holiday season, and Toronto is covered in snow and geared up for a rematch of last season's NBA playoffs. The Air Canada Center will be filled to capacity for an Eastern Conference showdown, with the New York Knicks taking on the Toronto Raptors. The Knicks have won 2 consecutive games, 5 of their last 6, and Toronto is coming in off a nice win over Indiana on Tuesday. Good evening, everyone. Happy holidays. Kevin Harone alongside John Thompson, Danny Ainge, and Craig Sager from Toronto. Well, 23 months ago, Latrell Sprewell became a New York Knick, and bringing with him a ton of baggage. But since that time, 2 Eastern Conference Finals, 1 NBA Finals, and now a position change. They've given him the keys to the offense. He's taken the place of the injured point guard, Charlie Ward. And Danny, since he's been manning that position, the Knicks have gone 6-2.
Well, it's about time is all I can say. Latrell Sprewell started out very poorly this year. The first 11 games, shooting 32%. Since then, they make him a point guard, and all of a sudden he's shooting 49%, and they're winning. And if they get in any trouble, if the defense makes him dribble 2 times with his left hand, for example, then they have Chris Childs to come in and bail him out at the point guard position.
But the Knicks have been playing well. It's got to be more than just Sprewell.
Well, Sprewell was playing so bad early in the season. Glenn Rice wasn't creating any offense for him. So Allen Houston came to the rescue. Offensively, he's their leading scorer, averaging 19.5 points a game, shooting over 40% from the 3-point line, doing everything for him offensively. One of the main go-to guys along with Sprewell. And then you have Marcus Camby at the defensive end. Very solid. Blocking shots, rebounding, and shooting a very high percentage around the basket. So, and then you have Larry Johnson, who's finishing the games, making a lot of big shots for him.
Well, there are some big changes for the Toronto Raptors. They've got a new coach, in fact, John Thompson, a guy who joins you in the Hall of Fame, Lenny Wilkens, a very calming influence on what was kind of a volatile situation here a year ago.
Well, a new guy, Kevin, but not new to success. It amazes me how frequently the best coaches in the NBA are mentioned and his name is excluded. When you look at his record, I think it's astonishing to see that this guy is the greatest coach in the history of the NBA in terms of winning. He's one of 2 guys to be in the Hall of Fame, both as a player and as a coach, the other one being the great John Wooden. When you look at the top 50 greatest players in the NBA, Lenny Wilkens is there. When you look at the top 10 greatest coaches, Lenny Wilkens is there. When you look at the coach of this team, they need somebody like that. And, hey, a change is coming born.
That's right. But, John, this has been a Toronto team making the playoffs a season ago, a little inconsistent this year.
Well, very inconsistent. But when you have the second leading scorer in the NBA out for 5 ball games, when you have the newness of players coming in, as they have had coming in, look, Vince Carter, the greatest player that they're probably ever going to have in this franchise, is getting adjusted to being out 5 games. But as Lenny said, it's going to take me 20 or 30 ball games to really identify the personality of this team. And we're getting close to that number, Kevin.
Well, there are few players that can captivate a crowd like Vince Carter. He truly...
CNN Sports Illustrated, the sports network more people are switching to. Call your cable or satellite provider.
Just a bit of magic. Oh, you gotta see it. Slightly unexpected. Perfectly perfected.
Digital palm quarter with 3-way PC link from Panasonic.
Oh, just a bit of magic.
I am the Firestorm cordless multi-tool. I am 3 tools in 1. I can saw, I can sand, I can even drill. I'm a one-man construction crew, and that's just the way I like it. I am the multi-tool. I am built by Black & Decker.
Come on, Dad, get up.
A
new Christmas classic is born.
How did I get here?
This isn't my house.
The Family Man is touching, soulful, and hilarious.
Oh.
Not only the perfect holiday movie.
You want me.
That is the general idea.
But one of the best films of the year.
God, you're beautiful.
Nicolas Cage. Ta-da! The Family Man.
Have a great day.
Rated PG-13 at theaters Friday, December 22nd.
I wish you well.
Go ahead.
This holiday season, I wish for happiness and prosperity for our family and peace on earth.
I wish for a grill guard, a tool set, floor mats, ooh, seat covers.
Pep Boys has what guys want. Custom alloy wheels in stock from $69.99 and 35,000-mile tires, 4 for $99. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
Stories of pride and passion. Stories so powerful we had to make them into movies.
I will meet our enemies face to face. I will not surrender.
There's been an accident. All hands lost.
I accept your nomination for President of the United States.
I trusted you. I got the look.
Hitler did not know what took place in the concentration camps?
TNT, the best movie studio on television.
All right, the Knicks and the Raptors are on the way here on TNT. One of just 3 games in the NBA tonight. Welcome to Studio A in Atlanta. I'm Ernie Johnson. Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley will be here at halftime. And I strongly encourage you to watch at that time because Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton will join us, sort of, in what is truly a testimony to the impact of the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday marketing campaign. Also, Charles will share his thoughts on that list of the most powerful people in sports. All of that at halftime. But straight ahead, we're going to take you back to Toronto. The Knicks with Latrell Sprewell. The Raptors with that man. Half amazing. Next.
What'd you get for 26? C. 68 and 74. C and C. 57. C.
Pencils down.
Right down the center. Not so great for taking tests, but great for collect calls. Dial 1-800-CALLATT and you can save big bucks.
How'd you do on the test?
Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
They come to us for many reasons. Because we save them money on what they need with their everyday low price. Because we help them solve their problems and get them back on the road. And because we stand behind the parts we sell with a warranty that's good at more than 2,500 stores coast to coast. Fact is, people everywhere come to us because we're AutoZone, the largest auto parts retailer in America. And there's just no place any better.
Magical gifts to stuff your stockings with. Turn on the fun. Best Buy. Still getting dandruff flakes? Maybe the problem is your dandruff shampoo. Try Neutrogena T-Gel Intensive Anti-Flake Shampoo. Fights flakes 3 ways. It may not be your first dandruff shampoo. It will be your last. Neutrogena T-Gel. It works.
Want to know what's on TNT? Then sign up for the Hot List. Twice a week, the Hot List tells you about the best shows on TNT. Just go online and sign up at tnt.turner.com. The Hot List. Sign up and tune in.
The NBA on TNT, brought to you by Best Buy. For more fun in your life, come to Best Buy, where you'll find the latest in digital technology. Best Buy, turn on the fun. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. By 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. And by Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo. It works.
It's a battle of heavyweights in Toronto. The Knicks and the Raptors, or a matchup of power forwards, Charles Oakley and Kurt Thomas. Charles Oakley sent a message to Kurt Thomas today. He said, if you try to shake my hand, I'll deck you and call it self-defense. Thomas responded, you don't have the guts to meet me face to face. Oakley then got in the final word, questioning Thomas's manhood.
I said a lot of things, but, I think that, he was trying to say some, back and forth about New York, this and that. Like, hey, man, I was in here a decade, so whatever you do, I wish you luck, but start mouthing on. I probably did say play like a lady, whatever, You can probably wear wigs and everything, too.
To avoid a confrontation, a break in tradition, instead of both teams exiting out of the same tunnel tonight, the Knicks and Thomas have been ordered to go out a different entrance. Kevin?
All right, Craig, thank you. Sprewell, Houston, Johnson, Camby, and Glenn Rice will be in the starting lineup for the New York Knicks in Toronto with Jackson, Vince Carter, Oakley, Davis, and Williamson. Our referees here tonight in Toronto, Bernie Fryer, James Capers, and Rashawn Michelle. And we are underway, and the former Knick, Charles Oakley, gets it off to Vince Carter. He's picked up immediately by Latrell Sprewell. Danny, how about Toronto early tonight?
Well, they usually try to go to Corliss Williamson and get him going down in the low post at the small forward position.
That's rejected by Larry Johnson.
Well, he knows Oakley can't put it on the floor, and Oakley shot the ball very well in his last game, and he was out here working on that three-point shot. What's the league come to, Coach? All the power forwards shooting threes.
That's because all the small guys aren't passing the ball inside.
5 seconds to shoot, and that is missed by Carter, retrieved in the corner by Camby. And we'll get our first look tonight at the New York Knicks offense. And again, here's the point guard, Latrell Sprewell, who would prefer to play the 2 guard, the shooting guard. But this necessitated with the injury to Charlie Ward. Knee surgery a couple weeks ago, out 5 more weeks. Marcus Camby, who was drafted by Toronto, 5 to shoot, down the baseline, and can't get it to go. The rebound by Oakley.
Well, that kind of shot would turn Sprewell back into a 2 guard. He
yes.
Well, this is a good matchup for Sprewell, too. Mark Jackson defending him. He can't put any pressure on him. Even in his young age, Mark wasn't one of those kind of pressure defenders.
Mark Jackson nails a 3-point shot. He is a career 40% 3-point shooter.
And I tell you what, somebody better go out there and put some pressure on Mark if he keeps shooting like that.
Well, Mark has really struggled with his outside shot this year, but he had a spectacular year last year with Indiana.
A New York Knicks turnover picked up by Oakley, down court for Carter, setting up over Houston, and buries the jump shot. And just like that, the Raptors on top 5-0.
Well, and that's a good sign for them, man. This guy missed 5 games, second leading scorer in the NBA. In order for Lenny to have success with this team, he's got to get off, and everybody's going to play off of him.
Rice picked up by Williamson. And here's Sprewell, who is one of their best low-post options, into Marcus Camby. Nice defense inside by Antonio Davis.
Well, great cut by Marcus. He just wasn't able to finish the job. He's one of the best in the game at timing that weak side cut.
Williamson inside over Glenn Rice. The Raptors have shot and hit 3 of their first 6.
They need Williamson to score. That's why he's out there, to give him a low post present to start this game. And at the small forward position, he typically has an advantage.
Sprewell on Oakley. There's a mismatch, and Sprewell will try to exploit it. Another miss, and New York has started 0 of 4. Carter, Jackson, he's hit 1 3, and he can't make it 2 in a row. Camby tries against Davis, loose inside, and the hustle is Sprewell digging it out, and the Knicks the other way.
Well, not only is Sprewell playing the point guard at the offensive end, he's got the tough job of trying to defend Carter at the other end. So he's got his hands full tonight.
I would say so. Just at one end, he has his hands full having to guard Carter. But, at the offensive end, I really wonder when a guy who's basically by nature a 2 guard has to do the thinking better to control the offense as opposed to looking to score.
Good offensive rebound by Camby. New York, the worst offensive rebounding team in the NBA.
Well, Coach, one thing about New York's offense is they don't run a Utah type of offense, and the game is very easy for their point guards. They just start the offense. They don't make all the decisions. As you see right now, the ball's in. Now he's in a normal position where he plays the 2 guard, just isolating on the wing.
Are you saying the first guy that gets the ball shoots it?
No, not at all. But they don't have to make decisions. They have a lot of decision makers on the court.
New York Knicks have started this game 0 of 6. They've had some pretty good looks as well. And here comes, with 8:30 to play in the first quarter, Mark Jackson. Carter picked up by Sprewell. Camby is guarding Antonio Davis, the ex-Indiana Pacer. Inside, Camby gets the loose ball with the whistle and a foul blown inside. And it's called on Toronto. And they put it on Corliss Williamson, his first. Well, we welcome those of you watching across the great country of Canada tonight on TSN. Had a chance to watch some of their work last night. Those folks do an outstanding job, and it's great to have TSN with us tonight as we are in Toronto. Rice working on Williamson, feeding off to Houston. Guarded by Vince Carter. And Houston setting up. And that is New York's first hit tonight. It took him 8 shots to put it in.
Well, it's also the first time they've gone to Allen Houston. You know, the first 2 possessions, they went to Camby on the ball side, and basically he's a weak side player. But if you want to make some baskets, I think you better let Houston Camby touch it a little bit more.
Under 8 to play now in the first quarter as Oakley feeds Jackson, who came as a free agent from the Pacers. And here is Antonio Davis. He came in a trade from Indiana.
But that's another big man going to the corner scoring. I wonder whatever happened to hitting a guy, Danny, a big guy in the post. We've all become 3-point shooters now.
Well, you know, Antonio Davis was they missed him bad in Indiana last year in the playoffs. They could have used his strength and muscle, but they decided to go young. Toronto has been the beneficiary of having the experienced veteran inside player.
Rice puts it in. Rice is now starting his 12th game this season for New York. At the beginning of the season, he was coming off the bench. It's Oakley over Larry Johnson. Charles Oakley nails it from outside, and now all 5 Toronto starters have scored in the game.
And that was a post-up play. He posted up from 18 feet, fadeaway jump shot, but that's Charles Oakley's post-up game right there.
So posted up and ended up shooting at the 3-point line.
Oakley's put 2 great games together, including a 22-point performance Tuesday against Indiana. Deceptive move by Houston. Nails another one. He's got 2 in a row.
Well, and I think that's a part of watching Sprewell play in the 1 position is who you give the ball to, especially in your early offense, because you got to get the ball to the guys that can shoot.
Oakley hampered on top. Williamson, who came in a trade from Sacramento. Vince Carter again. And Carter from outside has gone 2 of 3. He's got 4 for the Hall of Fame coach Lenny Wilkens, taking the place of the ousted Butch Carter. And it was a volatile situation here. Remember last year, Carter during the playoffs wanted to sue someone from the Knicks? What a mess. It's cleaned up now. Charles Oakley, who has a feel for both teams. He spent his best years in a Knick uniform, now in Toronto, giving the Raptors a 7-point lead.
Hey guys, give me a hand carrying this stuff up to the 3rd floor?
Love to, but we're late for this thing.
Yeah, sorry. That's cool. You know, those stairs are kind of tricky.
Yeah. Oh, I got this. That's it. Mind if we help ourselves to some of your underwear?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
I don't need you guys to help me unpack.
Make it a Bud Light.
Well, it's Monday morning, and it looks like the whole world is heading back to work. We've got a couple of tie-ups on the freeway, some construction downtown.
Come Monday, we all need a little coaxing.
As a new era unfolds, the New York Knicks must come together to prove they are a better team. In a city impatient to capture past glory, the Knicks must look to the future and show their critics, as well as themselves, they are not to be ignored.
Watch The Pretender every weeknight at 7 on TNT.
Lenny Wilkens is the NBA's all-time winningest coach and the only coach to win 300 games with 3 different teams. 478 in Seattle, 316 while with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then 310 wins with the Atlanta Hawks. And now comes up to Toronto as a calming influence on somewhat of a young team. I mean, they've got impressionable players, but boy, John, they've got some wonderful veterans like Oakley and Jackson. You talk about stewardship. They can certainly give a rudder to this team.
Well, definitely so. And I think, as I said at the top of the show, it's going to take some time with a lot of confusion, which they had at the end of last year. It's going to take some time for things to settle in and for him to get himself in a frame of mind and get his team the way he wants it to be.
The Knicks have shot 33%. Houston flipping it to Rice outside the lane. Caught by Camby. 8 to shoot over Oakley, and he can't get it to go. Oakley gets another rebound. And he's got 2. The Knicks come into tonight having won 2 consecutive games and 5 of their last 6 games. They've been playing well. Toronto, all 5 starters have scored. All have at least 1 rebound.
Well, and that's part of the problem, Kevin. I think that in order for the Knicks to be successful, they have to change the pace of this ball game. Anytime it's a half-court ball game, I think it's to Toronto's advantage because they don't have a fast team offensively or getting back defensively out there.
Williamson picks up his 2nd foul.
Well, that's not so bad. They got Mo Pete ready to go, the rookie coming in over there. He's been playing great for him, and you know, he's not the prototypical small forward anyway. Corliss Williamson, he's not a perfect fit, so they have a good bench that'll come in and help.
Larry Johnson missing a 3 right there. He had 2 key threes Saturday at the Garden against Denver, which led the Knicks to a win. Jackson driving inside, the rebound by Sprewell, 3-on-2.
So that's just stopping the rebound, and that's what I'm talking about. They got to get down and get fast break baskets. If they play at half court, I think it's going to be much more difficult and more to the Raptors' liking with this lineup that they have in there.
Allen Houston has not missed a shot. He is 3 of 3.
He's got a beautiful jump shot, and you know, with the new rules in the NBA where you can't hand check the guy at that medium post like he made his first two shots, guys that can shoot and have that kind of length are very difficult to match up with.
Larry Johnson and Oakley were wrestling underneath the rim. And out of bounds, he goes with it. Just an out-of-bounds play.
Well, they have to guard Sprewell. He's so great in the open court, and when you got 2 shooters out there, Houston wide open, he's feeling it from that mid-range jump shot area.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They better guard Houston, too, along with Sprewell, as much time as he had with his range.
Houston's been hot. Here comes Glenn Rice, knocking one in from outside. Rice, who is a poor 3-point shooter on the road, knocks in a 2 right there, and the Raptors' lead is cut down to 3.
You know, the thing I love about Glenn Rice, though, is no matter how bad he's shooting the ball from the 3-point line, every coach in this league still honors him, and they still spread the floor. It opens up the offensive rebounds. It opens up penetration, and I think the Lakers right now really miss his presence on the court.
Rice picks up his first foul. Here comes Carter dancing into Sprewell, out to Jackson, and into Williamson. Rebound by Oakley. Lost it inside as he bumped into Camby. Picked up by Carter. Contortion. Foul! He's something else.
Well, that's a great play by Carter, but it's a great play by Charles Oakley keeping that ball alive. And that's why I have a big problem with Charles Oakley shooting so much from the outside, because it's hard to get to the offensive boards when you're spotting up at the 3-point line, and that's one of his strengths.
Well, heck, you take those shots out there when you have guys like Danny Ainge that won't pass it to the big fellas inside.
No, but that's why he's supposed to chase down my misses.
Rice with the miss right there. Here comes Mark Jackson, one-time NBA Rookie of the Year and a long-time Knick in his early stages of his NBA career. Williamson again. Poked away by Rice. Shot clock is down to 8 with a drive inside. Rice reaching and picks up a foul, and now he has 2 for the New York Knicks.
Well, and the only legitimate outside scorer that the Raptors have on their team, as Danny was talking about, is Carter right now. And the defense realizes the fact that in order for this lineup that the Raptors have out there, you got post-up basically guys in there, and they can look to help inside.
Chris Childs will check in. Kurt Thomas is in the game. And you remember the report by Craig Sager to begin it. He and Oakley hate each other. A 2-second mark on the shot clock, and it was beaten, and it's a 3 by Vince Carter. Carter is shooting 41% from 3-point territory this year.
And, you know, when he learns to shoot that, if he consistently can shoot that, you know, with Reggie Miller type of percentage, that guy's completely unguardable.
Now he is guarding Sprewell with the bump, and he forces Sprewell out of bounds. John, he's doing it on both ends of the floor.
Well, and I like that. And that's a little bit, again, of what Lenny has missed. But Danny alluded to Reggie Miller-type offense. Isn't anybody in the league that can shoot like Reggie Miller could when he could really shoot the ball?
Carter with a nice move inside. 9 points for Vince Carter.
Attention sports fans, it's CNNSI.com's Beat the Experts College Bowl Edition fantasy game. The first to pick all 25 College Bowl champions gets to tell the experts your mama wears cleats on game day. Log on and play today.
When cold winds begin to blow and storm clouds start to grow.
With its legendary four-wheel drive capability, Jeep Grand Cherokee can go where no ordinary 4x4 can.
Stop looking and start an exciting new job with great benefits. GE Card Services in Merriam is now hiring for customer service representatives. Finally, a friendly working environment without the pressure of selling. Work with team members, earn competitive wages, and enjoy great benefits that start the day you're hired.
Thank you for calling. We do appreciate your business. Come join our winning team. Call us at 1-800-437-6046 for immediate consideration.
No faith.
I don't go to church because I don't believe God.
A curse with no reason.
I have holes through my wrists.
So she receives another wound, she's going to die.
Patricia Arquette, Stigmata.
After 500 years, the questions live on. The Messenger. This December, give in to temptation. Order Cinemax and the Movie Channel and get the best of both worlds.
Vince Carter not only leads Toronto in scoring, he led the U.S. Olympic team in Sydney this summer in scoring, and that was a great team.
And when he's shooting the ball like that, he's unguardable. That's good defense by the Knicks. They're contesting every shot. He picks up the loose ball, takes that one to the hole, which is still the strength. When he's shooting this jumper right there, like I said, he's got Reggie Miller type of range when he's shooting 41% on the year. I don't know how long he can contain that this year with that consistency.
Well, and the other thing about it, Kevin mentioned that he was in the Olympics. We talked about the downside of his missing 5 games, but it's an upside to it also because he had a terrible summer as far as time is concerned. He had an opportunity to rest, Kevin, when he got those 5 days off.
That's a good point, John. A lot of those guys came back from Australia tired and worn.
Very much so, because it continued right in from last season.
Illegal defense blown on the New York Knicks. Toronto last year won the regular season series against Van Gundy's Knicks 3-1, but come the playoffs, it was a clean sweep by the Knicks in the first round over the Toronto Raptors.
And Carter had a very difficult time making the outside shot in that series, and that's what I'm saying. If he can make that shot, I know he can on occasion, but he's got to do it consistently.
Corliss Williamson with a great series of moves to corkscrew his way inside and get 2.
Well, and it was really a great move because of the lineup that they have, and I don't understand why the Knicks weren't able to give help, because you don't have to stand outside on the other players that the Raptors have in there.
Childs flips it out to Sprewell for 3. Good! Sprewell knocks it in from downtown.
Ooh, and that's a good bonus for New York right there, because he's been shooting miserably from the three-point line. But getting back to Toronto's low-post offense, Rice has 2 fouls, and they're not protecting him. Corliss should continue to get the ball to try to put pressure on Rice.
Kurt Thomas, a good defensive player, working on Davis. Childs is working on Jackson. Shot clock is down to 7. The screen by Williamson, the give and go inside. Pick and roll inside won't go. And Davis bouncing against bodies. Can't get it. Tap in try. That won't fly inside by Williamson.
That's a good call by the official. James Capers right on top of that. Corliss was trying to clear space for his second or third attempt underneath the basket.
Well, you can't tell me that Jeff Van Gundy isn't angry about that, because you don't let the team get 3 and 4 offensive rebounds, and particularly when you look at a team that you know that is virtually just going inside other than Carter.
Williamson has 3 fouls for the Toronto Raptors, and so now he is out. Morris Peterson, the celebrated rookie from the national championship team at Michigan State, in the game. Backing inside is Johnson, feeding to an open Childs, who knocks in a 2-point shot.
Larry Johnson, a very good decision maker when he gets down there on the block. The only time he runs into trouble is when he has longer players trying to, and bigger traps. He has a tough time passing at him because of his height on the block.
Sprewell on Carter. Childs is on Jackson. Shot clock down to 10 with about a minute to play here in the first quarter. Oakley. And Jackson for 3. He's knocked in 1, but he's missed 2. Good offensive rebound by Peterson. Another try for Jackson. Will not go. And that's out of bounds. And Jackson can't hit from 2 point-blank range shots. And tonight's key stat is field goal attempts and free throw attempts by each team.
I love that stat.
Especially the attempts. Especially the attempts he likes.
Well, the reason is Toronto is 7th in the league in field goal attempts. New York is the 29th worst team in field goal attempts. I'm sorry, 28. So, you know, they like to play at a better pace. Toronto does. They like to get up shots quicker. So we'll see who wins the pace battle.
36 seconds to play here in the first quarter. A first foul has been put on Charles Oakley, and there is Larry Johnson. Johnson, who is averaging a career-low 10 points a game, has made 15, now 16 consecutive free throws.
You know the thing about Larry Johnson, Coach, you always say it. It's not how many you make, it's when you make them. Larry Johnson is very unselfish, but you can see, look at the free throw attempts here. They are the 29th team in free throw percent and free throw attempts, but yet they're the first in percentage. So they've got to try to find a way to get more free throws. But again, they're getting less shots on goal, shooting the fewest amount of free throws, and that has a lot to do with the pace that New York plays at.
And the style of offensive play that Larry has, Danny, underneath, he's got to make shots because he's going to draw a lot of fouls. So it's great that he can put those free throws in.
No question.
That's the third turnover by Toronto. The New York Knicks are on a 7-0 run right now.
But Larry makes a lot of big shots. You know, his numbers are down this year, but he still has the confidence of Jeff Van Gundy in the clutch because he's made so many big shots for him over the years.
Chris Childs maneuvering around the defenders and exploiting the rookie Peterson, and knocks it in. And the Knicks now, who at one time in this first quarter, trailed by 10, now to within 1 point with 10 seconds to play in the first quarter.
When Charles comes in again, you see more pressure on the ball. That was an example of pressure that I meant. But you see more pressure on the ball because he loves to be aggressive, loves to go out. Jeff said that about him when we talked to him in practice today, but he's got to be a little bit more prudent in how he makes his fouls and when he makes them.
But that was a good foul because they had a foul to give. They didn't want to work the clock, so that was an intentional foul by Childs right there.
Here comes Carter trying to beat the buzzer, and misses the shot, reeled in by Rice, and that'll end it. These two teams have a long history. The very first NBA game ever played was at Maple Leaf Gardens here in Toronto in 1946. They faced each other in the playoffs. They've got players that have played for each other's teams. There is a lot of emotion when the Knicks and Raptors get together. At the end of one, it's Toronto on top, 2019 on TNT.
Where will I be when they knock on my door? Where will I be when the aces are four? Where will I be when fate asks for a day?
One day, you'll find a place where you know you belong. Will you be ready? Understanding your credit is the first step toward owning a home. Call for the free guide on credit from the Fannie Mae Foundation and for a list of lenders and credit counselors.